Hello, and welcome back to episode number 6 of this mini series on the introduction to WordPress. We've covered a lot of things so far, and what we're going to go through now is the final part to tie everything together, and that is I'm going to introduce you to the Elementor page builder. So, looking back at the previous video, we talked about custom post types and advanced custom fields, and we created a custom post type called webinars. Now, I'm going to focus on this for this tutorial because you can apply this into pages, posts, and anything else. So by doing it here, you can use it anywhere. And so the first thing we need to do is click on templates within the Elementor icons here, and then we're going to click on theme builder. Now, as you can see, I've already created quite a few. I've created a header. There's a header new, there's a header scroll, which we can remove because that was a test. There's also a footer. There's two types of footer. There's a footer and a footer new. And we can see which ones are being used. So the reason I've done two here is to show you that this instance here is that this footer is being shown on the entire site, whereas this footer is not being shown anywhere. So I can actually go ahead and just remove this one. We have a blog archive, we have a legal archive, and we have a blog single. So to give you an idea of this, if I go to the front end of the website now, and I go to /blog, this is now the look and feel of the blog archive. Very different to when you consider back to that first video that we created. Now this isn't finished, but it does just give you an idea, an example, and I can click on this and it's going to take me through to the look and the feel of this post. Now there's no feature image, the content's here, available to leave a comment and a sidebar. Everything that we wanted and we needed, and we can do that here. You can click on this one as well. Same style of layout. We've got our footer, which you can see here, and then we've got our header as well that we've added. So all of that is done so far as part of this. But what I'm going to do now, and in fact, whilst we're here, just before we go into the theme builder, I'm just going to click here on the home page, and I'm going to edit this page. By clicking edit this page, I'm going to show you what this looks like on a current page. So we know that we have this ability to create text here, but if you wanted to create a layout with a lot more ability, then all we do is we click on this button at the top here that says edit with Elementor. It's going to automatically load the page, it's going to take over the screen, and what we're going to do is we're going to get our sidebar, and then we're going to get our actual preview as well. And so this is going to allow us to go in and change things, to do whatever it is that we actually need to do on this page. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the page layout by clicking on settings here, and I'm going to make this an Elementor full width, and that means I will still have the header and the footer, but I won't have any of this content here. Okay, I'm just going to remove that section so we're back to standard. Now if I said canvas, it would remove the header and the footer, so maybe I want to do that, and it would give us a completely blank canvas to work with. Okay, so the things to consider here when you're in Elementor is in the top right hand corner we have our elements. Now we have basic elements, we also have pro elements, and any additions that we're using as well. So for example here, I can open this up to show you the basic elements. We can add an inner section, we can add a header, an image, a text area, a video, a button, a divider, a spacer, Google Map, or an icon. Those are as standard. That's with the free version of Elementor. Because I've upgraded and got the pro version, I can also pull in posts, portfolios, add slides, forms, login boxes, lots and lots and lots of different things that we can do here. And you can see that throughout all of this information that is here. Then we have general information, so this is just general stuff that is available, and there's some pretty cool stuff here that we can add as well. And this is just site information, so if I want to pull through this particular page title, I can do that. The site logo, stuff for the site, stuff that's relevant to a single post type or a single page, which is available there. And then these are just add-ons that I'm using, and the add-ons, the third-party add-ons, give us some additional functionality, which are pretty cool. There's a lot of really cool things, and just as an example, I could drag out here a timeline, drop it, and it's going to give me a timeline which I can then scroll through. I can then click and edit and play with. Lots of really cool things that you can do there. So yeah, lots and lots of abilities here of things that you can do. some WordPress stuff here as well. But what I'm going to do right now, for the purpose of this, is we just want to create a home page. So very basic, we're just going to add a heading. Now, I can either click on the plus here to choose whether I want it to be 1 column, 2 columns, so on and so forth. If I did 2 columns, you can see at the top here, I can then drag to resize these columns. Maybe I want this one to be bigger. I can then take any of my elements and I can drop it in here, drag it, let it go, and there we go. So this will be the home page. Okay, and then I can build this out. If I want to add new columns, I can. I can right click, add a new column. I can drag that to remove it, put that in the middle, click on it, change all these options. I can change any of the content area here. I can change the style if I want to change the colors. Again, loading up our color palette. All of the other stuff that I can do here. There's loads and loads of stuff to play with. Now, if I don't want to go down this route because it's too much, I can also click on this little folder here. And what this is going to do is it's going to give me some preloaded either blocks, and these are different blocks of things that you might use, different things that make up a page, or complete pages. So I can look at all of these complete pages that are here, and let's just say I want to build out a page and I want it to look a little something like, let's just try and find one that we like the idea of here. Okay, let's say we want to use this one. So I can click insert, and what this is going to do is it's going to create this template. I could have previewed it, but I just clicked on insert. And as you build out your own parts of your site, your own templates, you can save them and they'll be available under My Templates. So you can use blocks that are available, full pages that are available, or your own templates. One of the things you can do, and one of the best things that you can do in terms of some customization, is you can hire a designer to build for you elements, and then you can just use them. And here it is. I can click on this, I can edit this image, I can click on this, I can edit this text. All of this is editable. I can click on any of this, I can go in and I can change and tweak and play about and do anything I want on any of these things. And this is it. We have a page, a really nice looking pre-built page ready for Christmas. And if I just go ahead and just update this right now, pop back across to the home page and just refresh the home page, you'll now see it's gone from that really horrible looking site to a really nice, clean, beautifully designed template that we can edit and play about with and change as we need. So really good imagery makes a really good template, and if you don't have the ability to do it yourself, you can use something that already exists. So really good options, and there's so many templates that are available. You can buy templates, you can buy sections, you can create your own, you can hire someone. Really is so many options. So with that being said, what we're going to do now, I'm going to come back to this, is we're going to go into the theme builder and we are going to create, or we're going to add new to create our own template. And the first thing this is going to do is it's going to say what type of template do you want to create. Now we can create a complete page, a section of a page, we can create a pop-up, we can create a header for the top of the site, a footer for the bottom, we can create a single post or an archive. Now remember I mentioned these at the very start and I've been going through them continuously so that you get used to them. An archive is the overview, a single is an individual page. So we're going to create, for the purpose of this, a single, because we want to do a single webinar page. So the post type is going to be, okay, let me just check why that's not there. That should be a little bit embarrassing because that should have been there then. If I said single, that should then show up as the webinar option, but it's not. So let's just call this webinar template. We won't select the post type just yet. We'll do that in a minute. Should have showed up. I'm not sure why it didn't. So we're going to close this because we're not going to insert a template. We're going to do our own one here. Okay, and what we're going to do is we are going to create a new section. So what we're going to do is add a new section. There's going to be 2 parts to this section. We're going to drag that across a little bit. We're going to add a video because we need a video in here. So we're going to drag video. That's going to be there. We also need to bring in a headline. So let's grab in a heading. We drag that in that side. We're going to need a text area. So let's come to text editor and let's add a text editor underneath here. And we're going to need a countdown timer. Okay, so let's add a countdown timer in here as well. Excellent. So we don't need all that information in there. We can take that one out. We definitely don't need, in terms of the style, the separators. We can take that out. Okay, and then what we're going to do here is just make this a little bit bigger like this. Okay, so now we can play about with this and change it. So if it doesn't look right, it's not how you want it to be, then you can play about with all of this. There we go, make it a little bit smaller, do a few things that you need to do, tweak and change the layout, make it how you want it to be. So now we've done that and we've got it how we want it to be. We just need to change this. So that's most of the information. Now if you remember, that was what we wanted in our opt-in. There was an intro, there was a video, and there was a headline and a date. So what we can now do, because this is the basic template, if I went ahead and click publish, let's just do this first. The first thing we do when we click publish is it says display conditions. Where do we want to display our template? So we add a condition and we want it to be on all webinars. So include all webinars, save. Okay. Now what I can do is I can come back to this page. Now it's not finished yet, this is the first part. So I come back to here and let's go into our dashboard. Let's pick up a webinar and let's look at understanding WordPress. This is the webinar that we want to look at. Now this is going to have a template. So if I actually went to view this page now, here we go. This is the template that we wanted. Now we want to get rid of this header and footer. So let's go back here. We're going to change this. And we're going to change the page layout and we're going to make it an Elementor canvas because we don't want a header and footer. Okay, something else that we do want to do on this is in this section, I want to add a little bit of margin at the top and bottom. So let's just say 150 pixels padding, top and bottom. Update. Okay, now I've updated, I can come back here and refresh this and you'll now see this new look and feel. I want to just add a little bit more of a gap in there because I don't think it's quite enough. So in the layout, I'm going to say the gap, make it wider. There we go. Update that. And already this is starting to look a little bit more like a webinar landing page. Now, there's a lot more we can do with this, but this, for the purpose of this demonstration, I want you to just get an understanding. Now, the problem is that every webinar landing page, whether I open up webinar landing page 1 or 2, because they're all using the same template, they all look exactly the same. So these are identical, even though they're different. Well, this is the power of Elementor and what I want to show you. So what we're going to do now is within this template, we are going to click on the headline and over here on the left hand side it says dynamic. You can see it says dynamic. So we're going to click dynamic and we're going to choose. Now what we want to pull in here is the post title. So let's just grab that post title and let's just update. And let's just go back to the understanding WordPress and let's refresh and let's look at what this now says. Understanding WordPress. Now let's go to this one and refresh, and this one now says webinar 2. It's pulling in names of the post title into the template. So now we have the same template but different content. Every time we create a new webinar, this will now have new content. Hopefully a penny just dropped somewhere and you're like, wow, this has just opened up so many possibilities. Remember, we haven't actually used a single line of code to create all of this so far. It's just been point and click in the right place with the right things. So let's go back and just finish this off. The next thing we need to do is come back to our template, and within our template we're going to click on this text area. Come back to the left hand side and again we're going to click on this dynamic option. Now we're going to scroll down because under here we have the ACF, the Advanced Custom Fields. Now Elementor and Advanced Custom Fields work very well together. So we can click on Advanced Custom Field. Once we've done that, we can click on it again and it's going to ask us for our key. Now this is a meta key. And I told you about this before. This is why we want to try and keep them so we understand them. If you remember when we set up ACF in the previous video and we set up our fields, we had one called Introduction. So let's just click that in there, and here we go. The next one we've got here, and we haven't got this one at the moment, but this will be for the date, so we can even pull that through. Now for the purpose of the timer, let's just take this out for the moment, and let's just go back to what we did here and just duplicate this, and for the purpose of this, I want to do date. Okay, I'm going to update this now. Now if I come back here and refresh this, what you're going to see is understanding WordPress. This is our introduction text, and this is when it is. And I can have a button as well. So I can come back here. I can click on button. Let's add a button underneath. And it might be that you're starting to like lose some of the things that are available here. Okay, it wants me to update. I'm going to do a quick update here. It wants me to update to the latest version, so I'm just doing that quickly and going back. Okay, so now I'm back here. Let's type in that button again. Okay, drag that button. There we go, I'm going to drop that in there. Now, it might be that you don't know where things are. I can't see things. There's no text in here. It's not working. So what you could do is you could open up this navigator down here, and I can now open up my section. Within my section, I have my 2 columns. I could rename this to be Hero Section. This could be Video Column. And this could be Text Column. So you understand exactly where you're working and what you're doing. So now I can open this up. This is heading. This is intro text. This would be the call to action button. And this is actually going to be the date. I can drag these to move them. I can click on the call to action, and again for the link I can make the link dynamic. I can come back down to the ACF field, I can click on it, and it's going to allow me to use, do I want the video link, the second video link, or the call to action link. Now again, this is the problem with just using a label but not describing the label. I know I want the call to action link, so that helps. There we go. I can also do the same for the video. If I was to click on this video, that would be the URL. I can make it dynamic, come to the ACF URL field, and in that I'm going to say I want the first video update. Now what I would need to do in here is I would need to edit this webinar. So let's just edit this webinar. We've got our text in here, but what we didn't do on the opt-in is we need to add a better video. So let's put that video in there. Let's just add some more text in there like that, and let's update this. Come back to our template. Maybe what we also want, we don't need to do this, but something else we could do if we wanted to is we could add in taxonomies. So we could have the ability to have a taxonomy in here, and we might say that this is going to be, or maybe even just the post taxonomy. So maybe we want to just do some post info. So let's just drag that in here instead. And we might say we don't want the author, we don't want the date or the time or the comments. What we actually want is, and we can choose what we want. So maybe I want a term, and I want that term to be the webinar types that we mentioned. And now it's going to give me all of the different webinar type options. So I come back and refresh now, and what you're going to see is the video that we chose, the tag which was basic training, all of the intro text, the time, and a click here. And that's our template. Now I know this isn't designed, but the idea is not to design something here, it's to give you the structure behind the content, why we're creating WordPress the way we are, how we're utilizing the content effectively, and then by simply having a design that works, you can build out, and what I recommend is that you first build out a static template, build out a landing page that is static, and once you have done that, once it's been built out, then you can come back and make it dynamic. There's real power in having a static page and then going in and just quickly changing everything to dynamic. And you need to sit and plan, because you need to understand, well, what is it that I need? What is the content that I need to have on this page? Because then you can build the ACF fields so that they're relevant. So you need to have a big understanding of what you're doing. And once it's finished, and this isn't finished, but this is just an example, it would look something like this. And this is a webinar template that is created here just to be able to give you all of this dynamic information based on different webinars. And so that shows you the end result of what is possible, and now all I need to do is go back into edit this, edit the webinar, and once I'm there and I'm editing a webinar, I can update all of this information. It will all be relevant and it will be different for every single one. Now if you're only doing one webinar, you don't need to go to all this trouble, but if you're going to do lots of webinars, or if you're going to have lots of products, or if you're going to have maybe lots of trainings or lots of events, it just shows you how you can create different templates for different things. Maybe you're going to have blog posts, but maybe you're going to have podcasts. Maybe you want to have interviews. Maybe there's lots of different things. You can create different templates for each instance, and you can make them show up based on different criteria. It really is unlimited in terms of potential and possibility. And just by going through this short introduction, I really hope that if nothing else, I've inspired you to use WordPress above and beyond just the standard posts and pages, because it is a very powerful tool, and when used correctly, it is almost limitless. This has been the end of the introduction. If you would like to know more, please pop over to my website, onlinemastery.co.uk. I have a complete academy, everything that you could possibly need to know to build, to plan, to build, and to promote your website. We cover the 7 steps of what you need, the golden steps you need to be successful online. We go through design, we go through strategy, we go through content, we go through design, we go through systems, we go through sales, marketing, and nurturing. And all of this is included with so many other things, including videos just like this one that you've been watching now. It's all in our academy. There's so much for you to be able to see, as well as lots of free blog posts with loads of content for you to be able to consume. So if you're starting out at the beginning of your journey, you don't have any money, there's enough to get you started. Once you've got some money to reinvest, you can upgrade until you're eventually working with us one-on-one. But I wanted to give you the ability to jump in at whatever level is right for you. So it's been my absolute pleasure to talk you through this series. I hope you've enjoyed it. I look forward to speaking to you soon. And please, if nothing else, just drop me a very quick message. You can do it simply on my website by clicking on this little pop-up on the bottom right-hand corner. You don't even have to put in your name, email address. Just bang me a message and just say, "Hey Steve, thanks so much for your training. I really appreciate it." Or, "Hey Steve, you can improve it here, here, and here." I'm always up to feedback, whether it is positive or constructive. I just like to know that you're out there. I'd like to connect with you, and I'd like to know how it's impacted you, because that's really what drives me, and it's what's going to inspire me to create more. Have an amazing day to everything you do, your online success. I wish you all the best.